Got it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer O'Connor, a holistic recovery specialist and founding CEO of Élan Power. I'm excited to be here today. We're going to talk about developing the mindset of a champion. And I'm super excited to be here with Lara Dallman-Weiss, who grew up sailing on White Bear Lake in Minnesota. But most of her athletic development came on the basketball court, in track, and as a dancer. Lara is a 2011 graduate of Eckerd College, where she studied nutrition and was team captain, earning both crew and skipper of the year awards. After joining forces with Nikki Barnes and a collection of champion wins, the duo competed with the 2020 Tokyo Olympics U.S. sailing team. And Lara's philosophy is, if you want something bad enough, you'll make it happen. So thank you so much, Lara, for joining us today. How are you?
Of course, I'm doing great today. It's a nice Friday in Miami.
Miami. Wow.
Yeah.
And are you in training at this point?
I am, yes. I'm at the U.S. Sailing Center where we keep our boats. And the Coconut Grove Arts Fair is going on the street behind us right now. So we've got a full day.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I've heard of that. Is that where they do the murals on the walls? On the buildings?
Art fair. They just have a bunch of booths set up, and it's something that happens every year, and all these artists come into town, and yeah.
So beautiful.
Really cool.
Yeah. Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit about your personal journey in sailing and athletics?
Yeah, so I grew up in Minnesota where the lakes would freeze in the winter. And so we got 3 good months of sailing every year, and we all had a blast and made the most of it. And then when I wasn't sailing, I was playing basketball and running and dancing and just kind of all the indoor sports because my mom didn't want to come watch me outside in the cold. And yeah. And I think that I really attribute a lot of the athlete I am today from the sports I played growing up, because I had wonderful coaches and just the most incredible teammates. And there's such a balance of like work hard, but also really, really enjoy and have fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then it wasn't until I went down to college that I got really serious about sailing.
Okay. All right. That's great. And
Yeah.
what were the temperatures like on the ice there? How cold was it?
Oh my gosh. I mean, below was totally normal. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's cold. It must be nice to be in Miami right now.
Yeah, I'm spoiled. And especially the last quad, because the Olympics were in Japan. So everything was really hot. We were always at venues.
Okay.
But this year our World Championships is going to be Halifax, Canada. And so I've got to start.
All right. Yes, dial it down. Dial down the heat.
Yeah.
Okay, and can you tell us a little bit about what your experience was like in Japan competing with the U.S. sailing team?
Sure. Yeah, so there were 13 athletes, and we just had this really close team. There's 10 different types of sailboat that race in the Olympics. And so the boat I was on is with one other girl, and there's only one U.S. team that goes. And so it was just the 2 of us representing U.S. And so we had this group just in, it was about 2 hours south of Tokyo. We got really close with our team. And then we actually got, because we weren't staying at the Olympic Village, we were staying at a satellite village.
Okay.
Got to go to the opening ceremony, and that was the most incredible experience. It was just, when people talk about the Olympic spirit, it's completely a thing.
Wow.
Got to march with the other Team USA athletes and just be next to the divers, the baseball team, the triathletes, and talk to them and see them compete and win medals. And it was just the coolest moment.
Wow, amazing. What an experience. Life-changing, I'm sure.
And then the sailing itself, it's you work so hard for years leading up, and the regatta itself is so different from any other regatta you sail.
Really?
Just management, the branding, the security, the helicopters that are constantly over your head, the drones in your face. It's just such a different,
Wow.
Your adrenaline's like sky high.
Through the roof. Wow. I could imagine.
Yeah, I did do a lot of breathing practice to just like,
yes. Tone it down. Yes. Yeah. It's so important.
yeah.
And so can you tell me a little bit about why you do what you do and what drives you?
Yeah. I mean, naturally, I'm just a very determined and loyal human. So I love the teammate aspect, sailing on a boat with one other person and just being accountable and showing up every day and having this grand goal. And I also love being an athlete, and I kind of think of myself as this workhorse. I just like, you can push me, and I love that endurance and the endorphins you get and all of that. So, before I started doing Olympic sailing, I was kind of caught with, what do I do? I study nutrition. Do I go for more schooling? And I couldn't find anything that just like really called to me other than to be an athlete. And I went to this mentor of mine and I was like, listen, what should I do? I'm caught. And he's like, all of my kids grew up to be something that they enjoyed when they were little. So one little like doctor kid, he turned out to be a doctor. So he's like, what did you like when you were little? And I just loved being athletic. So that was the real like confidence boost to go down the path.
Absolutely. You listen to your inner calling, your inner guide, your inner drive. And it really shows on your whole persona, your presence, your smile. It exudes that you love what you do, and it's amazing to me. It's beautiful. Yeah.
And on that note too, my growing up sailing was always so much fun to me. And it was never about winning or just being the most competitive. I remember having a waterproof radio on our boat and just like being absolutely loving it. And somewhere like when I started doing Olympic sailing, I think people just got really serious and really like gotta grind it out, gotta just, have this miserable face on. And it took me a while, but one of my friends from growing up that I used to sail with, she's a big runner, and she was running Portugal through the mountains and came to visit me when I happened to be training there. And it was the best reminder of just how much fun we had when we were growing up, and her love of life and just being so present in the moment, enjoying the journey. Like, I really reminded myself of how I grew up sailing, and to then be able to put that into Olympic training and really live that out, I think is like, if people can find that, it's major.
Yeah, that's a gift. That was a gift that she was able to be there to help you ground, connect, get the drones out of your head, and really get back to your roots of who Lara is and what you were doing and why you were there. That's incredible.
Totally. Yeah.
And are there any major challenges that you faced, and how have you overcome them?
Yeah, every day.
But, welcome to the club.
I have a performance coach I work with, and he's so helpful. Yeah, we've seen anything from, we're not funded by the government like a lot of our other competitors, and so a lot of fundraising, and there's so many times where we're just basically running a small business and people for money, and are we going to have the equipment that our competitors have? Can we train at a high caliber like they do? So that's definitely been a big goal, and it's a good mindset change too, to just be like, whatever is meant for me, like, it'll happen, it'll come. And if it doesn't, then it's not meant for me, and don't over worry about it, because there's so many other things we can worry about.
It's so true. Yes.
Yeah. And then also the dynamic of sailing with one other person. I sailed with Nikki in Tokyo. So it was females. We were like sisters, but also business partners and teammates. I'm switching to a boat sailing with a male now. And so that's a completely different, like, you're in a marriage pretty much, but you're not married.
Right.
So yeah, that's probably it. And if I were to throw another one, it's the self-belief and self-worth and all of that, you know, I think a lot of people recently have been opening up with mental health. It's so, like, as an athlete, it's so easy to be really, really hypercritical. And I just think, like, either having someone on your team, you know, whatever you do in life, that can see from the outside perspective. Remind you that, like, you're doing great. When things are hard, like, keep going, just kind of be your cheerleader.
Yes, Simone Biles also, she opened up a whole door for athletes to have a voice about mental health and where they were and how they were doing things. And I think it's wonderful to embrace that and to be able to talk and communicate and support one another in that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I love how you're not only an athlete and Olympian, but you're also an entrepreneurial hustler. I didn't know that about you. It's very cool. I respect it. As an entrepreneur myself, it's not easy, but it's rewarding when you're passionate and you love what you do. It's amazing. So nice.
Believe in what you're doing. It makes it worth it when things get hard.
Yes. And so, talking about, can you tell us what the mindset of an Olympian looks like? What type of self-cultivation, training, boundaries, or discipline do you apply to your life?
Am I there? I think I froze for a second, but
it paused. You're back. You want me to repeat it, or did you get the question?
About insight. Leave anything out, just let me know. But yeah, I'd say a lot of it comes just within me, in my character, in the determination and the accountability and the waking up early, kind of the things you typically with athletes. That's just something I've always had. And I think something that I'm, like, implementing lately is the ability to disconnect from all of that. You know, because my brain doesn't turn off sailing at night. I stay in that sympathetic nervous system, and I just keep going. And which it takes a lot of, because, you know, you're always chasing the last few percentages. But I think a big part of, you know, any big entrepreneur or athlete, or just anyone that's really chasing the top of what they do, is the ability to jump out and disconnect and really enjoy and kind of bring a little bit of the spirituality into it too. Kind of the journey that I'm on lately, aside, like, a lot of the stuff that you need to have as athletes just comes natural to me. All of the athletics, the gym, that kind of thing. But I think that when you are chasing the very, very top, you do have to bring in a little bit extra of the spiritual. So.
Yes. And I love that. When I first met you, you were traveling through Rye and you came to my yoga studio. So do you practice any meditation, mindfulness, yoga? How do you connect, or rather disconnect, is what you're saying, from that athleticism, from that sailing mentality that's always running? Are there any tools that you use?
Oh yeah, many. I do every morning. My performance coach records something called the harmony exercise, and it's 15 minutes. He records it on Rise. It's free for anyone, theharmonyexercise.com. But great way to start your day and think about gratitude and love and setting your intentions, and just puts you on, the right set for the day. I do another practice called Jung Shim, and it's a Korean meditation, and that's an hour long, and it's slow movements and breathing. And so that's the one thing that I've found that helps my recovery more than anything.
Okay.
Bike ride, more than massage, more than, any of these tools that a lot of athletes use.
Yes.
Just like the breathing, the silence, the reflection.
Yes.
That's huge. And then I also have a coach that, no matter where I am in the world, she does like a mobility programming for me. And so it's on it. She'll give me like pre or post sailing exercises depending on what I say I need, but she'll also throw in some things like some breath work or some motivation, and so just having her, and then working with a performance coach. He's just another that's like on my team and helping me manifest things and helping me figure out, he was the first person to call me after we were done racing in Tokyo and say, all right, what's next? What are we thinking? What are we working on? And
nice. Yes.
Yeah. So lots of tools, lots of people that I say, hey, like this relationship is going to be pretty one way and I need you. And please check in, if you don't hear from me.
Yeah. It takes, what is the saying? It takes a village, right? You're out there, but you have so many wonderful people, it sounds like, in your life. And these are the tools that we put in play to help us keep going and support one another. And like you're saying, operate at the top of your game.
Yeah. And I think that goes so far beyond being an athlete. I think everyone should have people, whether you're paying for a professional coach or whether it's a friend, or I think about all these stay-at-home moms and like how incredibly hard that would be. Like, it's hard enough for me to just feed and clothe myself each day, and I think it's okay to accept help and to ask people, like, come check on me, and if someone offers something, take it. I think that's just we're so conditioned to say, I don't need help, I can do it myself, and I don't think it should be that way.
I agree with you. There's so many moms that I work with who they're holding everything together, the whole operation, the whole ship. And it's so important for them to, like you're saying, disconnect and give back a little to themselves. And when we're feeling good and operating at our best, then we can offer so much more to others as well. And another thing, I love what you said about the breathing, how the breathing is what helps you the most. And I'm a total believer in that. I think that it all starts with the breath, and it's amazing that you've come to that, because it's an incredible tool and something that's with us each and every day.
Yeah. That was my kind of, when the world stopped during lockdown right after the pandemic hit, I really took a deep dive into breathing, and I found 2 coaches I was able to interview, and I read a couple books about the mechanics of breathing, and just that, like, the understanding of it and how, but then also using it in different ways, like life-changing.
So true. That's my dream, is to help change the world one breath at a time. And it's really that simple. It can be that simple, and one small step at a time. So, and can you tell us what you're up to now? What's Lara's ultimate dream?
Yeah. So I mean, ultimate dream is a gold medal.
Okay. It's coming. I know it.
After Tokyo, it took a few months just to, simmer down. And so the boat that I sailed with was 2 females in the boat, and we raced against all females, but there was also 2 males racing the same boat against each other. So what they've done for the next games is they're going to take 1 male and 1 female and put them in the boat. Okay. So I had the option to either stay in that boat and find a new teammate or switch boats. So I'll be switching boats to, it's, instead of a single hull, it's a catamaran, and it's foiling. So it goes really fast, kind of raises up water, and
Okay.
it's very technical in a different way from the other boat I sailed. So got a new boat, a new teammate, new goals, everything.
Great.
The person I'm sailing with was one of my teammates in Tokyo. So we know each other, and yeah, we're just getting into things now.
Wonderful. So exciting. And are you on one of those catamarans, the new boats now, practicing and sailing on it?
Yeah, so we're just doing boat work for a couple days because they take a lot of little fine tuning and everything. Then we'll start sailing in a few days.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you. Yes.
Yeah.
And is there anyone that you're trying to inspire, or maybe an impact that you would like to place or put out there to make on the world?
Yes, I guess towards the end of our last campaign, I really felt something in me that was like, I don't want to just race sailboats for my own. Like, I want to have some other purpose and a way to give back. And that was actually a big challenge of trying to figure out how athletes give back while they have to be so selfish. So I walked around for a while asking everyone questions like, how do you give back? And, are we giving back? Is it enough?
Yeah.
I found someone gave me an answer about like athletes are entertainers, and that is in itself giving back. I thought that was interesting.
Yes.
But the two things that really stand out to me are females in sailing, because it's such a male dominated sport. And so just helping out any young female that's eager. And then also, like, my love is the environment, and we can't do what we do without, healthy ecosystems. So
Absolutely.
I'm kind of a place right now where I'm doing a lot of research, and I connected with this nonprofit in New Zealand that's incredible. They work with sailors, and they encouraged me, instead of just like jumping into a bunch of things, just kind of sit, interview, listen, find out what I'm really passionate about, and then go from there.
Okay. I love it. A new journey, saving the world and helping women sail. Beautiful.
Yeah. I really feeling I want to give back to the Everglades, because it's so close to us in South Florida.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards.
Okay. Have you been out there lately? Seen any alligators or?
I do a bike ride. There's something called Shark Valley, and it's like a 15-mile loop, and you can go before the park opens and do the loop. And that's when the gators are waking up, and there's these huge grasshoppers and lots of birds, and yeah, it's beautiful.
Magical.
It's incredible that it's so close to this huge city of Miami. And yeah.
And you have an Instagram. How can we find you? How can we follow your Everglades
journey
venture and your sailing journey? Yes, all of it. Where can we find you?
Yeah, Instagram's where I spend most of my time. L Dallman.
Okay.
LLMAN. Yeah, that's where I am.
All right. And so, Lara, thank you so much for being the champion that you are. And if you could teach one thing to all of the 5-year-olds who look up to you as a role model, what would it be?
Oh, I'd say be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and just keep that and hold on to that. And, people try to take it away from you, but just keep it.
So true. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so touching. Thank you so much. I've been experiencing a little of that myself. I've learned, over the last two years that it's important for me to be gentle with myself, to be kind to myself. And I think that goes a long way, especially to a little 5-year-old. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah. And it always takes two to fight. So if someone tries to fight you and you say no, then they can't fight you.
Yes, it's true. I love the saying too, if you're in a tug of war, all you have to do is drop the rope.
Yes.
Yes.
That's so good.
All right. Well, enjoy Coconut Grove, the arts, the water, your new catamaran, your new venture. I'm going to be rooting for you. And I'm so grateful that you were able to share with us today some of your philosophy, your champion mindset, as well as your heartwarming spirit of who you are and how you want to give back, and your interest in helping the world and nature as well. It's so important.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah. Okay, Lara. Thank you so much.
Awesome.